Welcome back to GAA Fan TV. My name is Aaron, and Wexford have stunned Kilkenny at Nolan Park. It finishes Kilkenny 118, Wexford 122. Kilkenny's first defeat at Nolan Park in 10 games in the championship. Big shock in most people's eyes. It's kind of a strange one, really, because although Wexford have pulled off a huge victory against Kilkenny, it kind of doesn't mean too much actually for Kilkenny in the end, because of the way it's worked out with score difference. Kilkenny are still going through to a Leinster final, and Dublin have been knocked out of the championship. My own county, Dublin, beaten by Galway by 6 points. They exit the championship on score difference. Kilkenny, Wexford and Dublin all finished with 6 points, but Kilkenny with the better score difference, so that is why they finished second, and Wexford finishing third in the end, so they're going through to the All-Ireland series, and Dublin exiting the championship with a negative score difference as well. Quite disappointing, if I say so myself, as a Dublin fan. We did say, time and time again, would the fact that we didn't put up big scores against the likes of Westmeath, against the likes of Laois, would have come back to haunt Dublin, and it's exactly been the case, because, Wexford beat Laois, I think, by 20 plus points. Dublin only beat Laois by a point. And in the end, that's come back to haunt Dublin, in my opinion. And Dublin's absolute hammering as well they received to Kilkenny, has come back to haunt them big time. And I think they only scored one goal in the entirety of the championship. Very disappointing from a Dublin perspective. But look, it was always going to be difficult when you're in there with Wexford, Kilkenny, and also Galway, three very, very good teams. But be interesting to see what happens now with Dublin in regards to Matty Kenny. Obviously Davy Fitz rumours flying around at the minute as well. So it'll be very interesting indeed. But look, we are here to discuss the Kilkenny and Wexford game. I did watch bits of the Dublin and Galway game on GAA Go as well. Very hard to obviously watch both games at the exact same time, but I did watch some of the game. But obviously the Kilkenny-Wexford game, probably the game that more people would have been interested in. So that was the main reason for sort of looking at this one. Look, fair play to Wexford, after a damning draw against Westmeath, a result that certainly would have hurt Wexford supporters, the Wexford players, management as well. You obviously heard Darragh Egan speaking in midweek. He was saying the lads are going to come out fighting. We're going to give a much improved performance. And they gave exactly that. And look, it was a strange one because they were actually quite slow from the get-go. They were actually 5 points down quite early on. They hit the opening two scores of the game from Jack O'Connor and Conor McDonald. But between the 3rd minute and the 11th minute, Wexford didn't register a single score. And it looked a little bit flat, probably in a similar fashion to what we've seen with Wexford when they obviously got beaten. Drew with Westmeath, and obviously the defeat to Dublin as well, where some wides in the end cost them. And it was in that time period, really, where you felt like Kilkenny were going to pull away, show that momentum that we obviously seen them play against Dublin. They were excellent against Dublin, hurled them off the park. Mikey Carey, TJ Reid with a couple of points, Mossy Keown with a very well-taken goal. And you really did feel from there that Kilkenny were going to be the ones to pull away. But massive credit to Wexford. Massive credit. But because between the 9th minute and 30th minute, Kilkenny registering just 1 point in that time period. Wexford playing an extra man at the back. They were playing a sweeper in there. Paddy Foley, I thought, was excellent at the back from a Wexford perspective. German O'Keefe done a very, very good job in around the middle, and obviously dropping back at times as well. And Wexford, really, that fight determination at the back was just absolutely brilliant. And even at the end of the game, when you seen that sort of ruck at the end where Kilkenny nearly scraped a goal, they managed to see it out. They managed to defend it, get the ball away. Liam Ryan, Simon O'Donoghue as well, excellent at the back. Liam Ryan in particular, our fullback, was excellent. And Wexford chose their moments to get forward, and they were excellent in doing so in catching Kilkenny out. And Kilkenny's intensity just probably wasn't quite there. Was it the fact that they sort of knew that unless a bizarre circumstance where Galway and Dublin drew. Kilkenny were going to be in the Leinster final. It was a strange game from a Kilkenny perspective because they would have either went out of the championship or they were in a Leinster final, unless they got beaten by like 20 plus by Wexford, and that just wasn't going to happen. In fact, even more than 20 plus. So it was a strange sort of circumstance, this game, in some respects. And Kilkenny just did seem a little bit flat. Like Owen Cody, who done very well, obviously, for that opening goal. But other than that, he was quite flat in some respects, and probably didn't have the influence that we would normally associate with Owen Cody. TJ Reid missed a couple of frees. But look, you know, it's a hard one to judge, Kilkenny. It is. They just certainly didn't look quite at the races, in my opinion. On Far says, worst possible outcome for Dublin gone, and I suspect that's the end of Matty Kenny's era too. Such a shame. Kilkenny are so fragile. Bizarre stuff from them. Yeah, certainly towards the end of the game, it was quite disappointing from a Kilkenny perspective. And usually you'd associate Kilkenny with, you know, coming back from the dead and finding a way to overturn deficits and all the rest, but not quite been like that this year. And when you look at, you know, they've beaten Dublin, Westmeath and Laois. They haven't beaten Wexford or Galway, but incredibly enough, they're in a Leinster final. It's a strange one how it's worked out, to be honest. Just looking at the league table there, Kilkenny miles in front in terms of score difference there. So that's the reason for getting in there. But yeah, in terms of Dublin, you know, as I said, it was more sort of looking at the Kilkenny game. But yeah, it was a strange game, really. First half, neither side really got in the game at all, from what I could see. Dublin, again, doing well defensively, but struggling offensively, or struggling, that's a very American term, struggling in terms of attack, just to, you know, get the ball into the likes of your Donald Burkes. And I think the problem Dublin, for me, have been faced with this year is that, you know, whilst Ronan Hayes was extraordinary throughout the majority of the club championship for Kilmacud Crokes, we just haven't quite got the best out of him in a full forward. Like, you're looking at some of the other forwards there from Dublin, like Donald Burke hit 14 points, Rian McBride with 2, Danny Sutcliffe with a point, Eamon Dillon with a point. Danny Sutcliffe not quite at the levels of, you know, sort of 2013, 2014. You know, he's probably getting on a bit. So Dublin sort of same levels just aren't quite there, unfortunately. And there is a lot of good players in there. There is a lot of talent in there. And as On Far said there, is it the end of Matty Kenny's era? Maybe so. You know, as I said, there's a certain Davy Fitz out there who you know, could very well come in for Dublin. I'd love to see it, to be honest. I wouldn't want to see Matty Kenny go, but if it was a case that maybe he was moved on, or maybe he, you know, I don't think he does get moved on, but maybe he decides to call it a day for Dublin. I'm not sure, but an interesting one. But look, I think the day ultimately for me has to go to obviously Galway for getting that big victory. You know, Galway finishing top of the Leinster round robin, unbeaten, I think, as well. They beat Dublin, drew at Wexford, beat Kilkenny. So Galway certainly going under the radar quite massively in most people's eyes. But just looking at Wexford, you know, it's kind of funny, like Rory O'Connor with 2 points, Oisin Foley with a goal. But there wasn't like large, obviously Lee Chin with 9 points, who was absolutely outstanding. But, you know, Wexford, they just were just that bit more clinical than Kilkenny, I found, and they just had a bit more energy about them. They moved the ball quicker. They were first to the balls late on as well. And although it was in Nolan Park, it was a strange one. I kept thinking it was in Chadwick's Wexford Park, because it felt like the crowd were nearly more so on Wexford side. It was a strange one watching it, but yeah, Wexford in the end pulling away. Really, as I said, that sort of time period where, you know, between the 9th and 14th minute, where Wexford really did pull away. You know, all sorts of points in there from Lee Chin, Conal Flood as well. And Wexford really just pulling away late on as well, getting some big scores and some big saves as well from the Wexford goalkeeper, Mark Fanning, as well, it must be said. But yeah, look, it's a strange one for Kilkenny. They definitely have a lot to work on. They're going into a Leinster final, quite bizarre in many ways that they've, you know, lost to both Wexford and Galway, but yet they're going into a Leinster final. It does show how important score difference is, because, you know, if Kilkenny had been in Dublin's shoes and struggled to get past Laois and Westmeath, you know, they would have been out of the championship. So it does show how important it is to rack up big scores against some of those teams. But then again, Wexford, you know, failed to beat Westmeath. So it's an unusual scenario, the way the 3 games have finished. But massive credit has to go to Wexford for pulling off big victory. Maybe a bit of an anticlimax that they're not going in to the Leinster final. They will play one of the Joe McDonough Cup teams in the next round. So either Antrim or Kerry, I believe. I'm not too sure what way that will be fixated. But Wexford versus Kerry in hurling would certainly be an intriguing one. And if Wexford have to go down to Corrigan Park, that would be an interesting one. But look, we're going to wrap this up here anyway. Wexford progress. Disappointment for myself as a Dublin fan to see us, miss out, because a big win against Wexford earlier in the year. It looked like maybe we'd crack on and do something special this year. Some great league performances as well. But unfortunately, it's not meant to be. And big congratulations to Wexford and Galway for some big victories. And let me know in the comments down below, what was your thoughts on the game? I want to know your opinions on the game as well. And I'd be curious to know as well for Kilkenny fans, what you're feeling going into that Leinster final. Because imagine a bit of a strange feeling having lost this one. But look, Kilkenny could go out and beat Galway, and then you're in a Leinster semi-final. And funnily enough, I'd probably nearly back Kilkenny for that final as well, just because they've got a great record in Leinster finals in the last couple of years. But yeah, I'm rambling on a bit too much now anyway, so we will wrap this up here. Smash the like button, subscribe if you're new.